Tim Burton seems a little annoyed, and the winner of the Best Batman contest is. Welcome to the Sox Rocker Show. Hello, welcome back to the show. Today I want to talk about a couple of things. First off being, in the last few days there's been an article out about Tim Burton's feelings about what they did to his Batman character and his Superman character in the movie The Flash. You remember that movie, don't you? I'm trying to forget it myself. What they did to his version of Michael Keaton in The Flash, it's almost unforgivable to me. They gave him a horrible death. They should have sent him off with a better ending than that. I mean, WB made such a big deal of bringing that version of Batman back. Michael Keaton is one of the most beloved versions of Batman. Many people, when they think of Batman, that's who they think of. That Batman back in '89. I mean, Michael Keaton defined the Batman character. And they almost made a mockery out of it, I think. Originally, he was supposed to come back and be the Batman. He was supposed to, so they say, be Batman / Bruce Wayne in a new Batman Beyond live action movie. And lo and behold, James Gunn comes along and he takes over DC, and they have a Kryptonian whack him in a horrible death, and the movie ends and we get George Clooney. And then everybody knows that at one point in time Burton had ideas of making a Superman movie that never came to fruition, but we've all seen the clips of Nick Cage dressed as Superman trying out the uniform, his long Con Air hair. It would have been neat to see that movie made, but they brought him. Well, they brought a CGI version of him in the Flash, and to me it looked horrible. It didn't even really look like Nicolas Cage to me. I thought it was an embarrassment. But when Burton was asked about it, he expressed discontent with WB misappropriating his characters. The freedom that they have now with characters that he created left a bad taste in his mouth. And Burton, being the gentleman that he is, he just left it at that. But we all know how he felt, and a lot of us felt that way. The Flash was pretty much a joke. It didn't turn out the way we all had hoped, I guess I should say. It's unfortunate. It's what they're trying to do all over in movie studios now, trying to steal, well, it's not really steal. They take over, own the characters in the movies that they produce. It's part of why the actors and writers are striking, because their work is being basically, in a manner of speaking, Xeroxed and used over and over again in AI. It's not right, and it looks terrible. I mean, anyway. And also, this past weekend was National Batman Day. They re-showed Christopher Nolan's trilogy in some select theaters across the country. I think that's fantastic. I didn't get the opportunity to go myself. I would have had they shown it somewhere near me. Um, I love all three of those movies. The first one is phenomenal. The second one is, to me, is the perfect superhero movie, and I liked The Dark Knight Rises. It was a little different, but hey, I think it's a great movie too. I think he knocked it out of the park with all three of them. Um, so I see why they took the opportunity to get those back out to the public one more time. Um, Along those lines, I thought I'd give my opinion on who I think the best Batman is. Um, a lot of people have their own opinion of the Batman they prefer, and I'm talking in movies. I'm not talking series or comics or cartoons. I'm talking about live action movies. The first one being probably the Batman that at least people in my age bracket first saw on the big screen. That was the Batman with Adam West. A lot of people, that was their first exposure to Batman. I mean, other than that, we saw him in comic books and we saw him in cartoons. I watched it when I was little. I thought it was great. It was campy, and now when I look back on it, it's very campy. It was corny, but it has its place in history. A lot of people prefer that Batman. It was a long time before we saw another Batman on the big screen, and that's who I was just talking about a few minutes ago. Tim Burton's Batman, Michael Keaton. I remember when they were talking about Michael Keaton was going to play Batman, and the public went berserk. The guy, how in the hell is Mr. Mom going to be Batman? I mean, he was been nothing but comic type actor in the movies, and let's face it, he didn't really look or personify the character of Bruce Wayne. But man, I'll tell you what, when that movie came out, it blew everybody away. It blew me away. I mean, it was finally time, and it was fantastic that we saw a great version of Batman on the big screen. The two movies that he was in were fantastic for the time. Looking back on them now, they're still great movies. They're a little dated, and even now when I watch them, they come off a little campy. I'm probably going to upset people by my saying that, but they do. I see flaws in them now that I didn't notice before, but like Keaton's moving like this because he couldn't turn his head, and let's face it, the outfit he wore looked pretty damn heavy. But at the time, it was cool. It's all we knew. It was amazing. Val Kilmer took over the role and did a pretty good job, even though that movie itself wasn't all that great, I don't think. And Clooney, I mean, we all know the debacle that was Clooney's time in The Cloak, and it really wasn't his fault, nor was it Kilmer's fault. They were handed campy, over the top, as far as I'm concerned, crap scripts, and they weren't directed very well. It was just it was campy, it was commercial, it was all based on toys. I mean, we know that now. But there are people that love those movies. And then we have Batman Begins, and we have The Dark Knight, and we have The Dark Knight Rises. Christopher Nolan, what he did with Batman in those movies blew me away. Brought it into a more realistic vision. Batman Begins it's an amazing movie. Um, when I heard that Christian Bale was going to play Batman, I said, hey, Christian Bale, you mean the asshole from the movie Shaft? Um, I couldn't wrap my head around it. And the only other movie I could remember him in, I think he was the little kid in Steven Spielberg's movie, The Empire of the Sun. But man, I'll tell you, it just, I watch those movies over and over again, even today. The Dark Knight, I've said before, and I'll say again, to me, is the best superhero / comic book movie ever made. It's phenomenal. I'm sure there are people that will argue with that, but it's okay. We all have our opinions. Pretty hard to beat. Then from there we go to Batman versus Superman. Ben Affleck. Batfleck. The other half of the couple Benifer. I don't know if I was thrilled about that either. I mean, Ben Affleck, he was in, Dazed and Confused and Good Will Hunting, and he's a great actor, great director, has made some phenomenal movies. I couldn't picture him as Batman. And then I saw the first photo still of him in the bat suit. You all know the one where he's standing next to the Epic Strike Batmobile and he's just staring down, and it blew me out of the water. Finally, to me, I thought we finally have somebody that looks the part, personifies the image of Batman. And I was looking forward to seeing that movie, and I love that movie. And I know there's people that hate on it. I think it's a great movie. I'm talking about the director's cut. The beginning of that movie, when he comes out as Bruce Wayne and he's trying to save all these people, I'm thinking that's Bruce Wayne. Holy crap! He looks the part. He acts the part. There's that one scene in Batman versus Superman where the police come in to free these. I'm guessing they're illegal aliens. They're prisoners. These Hispanic women, and they won't come out of the cage. I think they called them the Diablo or the Devil or whatever. And that scene where the camera pans up and Batman is clinging to the corner of the wall up in the dark. Man. I've probably frozen that picture while I've watched that 100 times. It's just amazing. And I can't say enough about the infamous warehouse fight scene. That scene is perfection. It's just outstanding. To me, it's the best fight scene in any superhero movie. It was Batman. Ben Affleck is Batman. And also in Zack Snyder's Justice League, I don't know. It's unfortunate that things went the way that they were. Because they took that character, that version of Batman, and put him in the Flash and I think made a joke out of him. That outfit, I don't know what you want to call that thing they had him wear in the Flash was horrible. That chest plate, to me, the first time I saw that, I told my friends it looks like, you remember that little George Foreman grill when you opened up? That's what it looked like to me. Like they spray painted it and stuck it on his chest, and he was in a latex jumper. And that scene where he was on the bridge with Wonder Woman and Flash, and it was just horrible, man. What they did. That's when I decided in my mind that Gunn had no business guiding the franchise, because you'll never convince me that he didn't have his hands in that. But we'll save that for another story. Um, then we have the Batman. Pattinson from those vampire movies. And when everybody, at least me and most of the people I knew, we found out he was going to be Batman, everybody made the glow in the dark vampire jokes, and that kid from Harry Potter, blah blah blah. I did too. And the movie came out, and I was happy to see it. I was excited to see it because to me we were cheated of another Batman movie. Batman versus Superman was a great movie with Batman in it, but it really wasn't a Batman movie. To me, that was Man of Steel Part 2. I couldn't wait for the movie that Ben Affleck was going to direct and write. We've all read the script online. It would have been an amazing movie. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever see it. The Batman, like I said, it came out at the right time, and I watched it. Good movie. I don't think it was a great movie. I think he did an okay job. To me, he kind of looked like those guys that were trying to be like Batman in in The Dark Knight, when Christian Bale says, they ask him what's the difference, and he goes, "I'm not wearing hockey pants." Well, that's what it kind of looked like to me. Like that Batman outfit looked like it was made out of leftover stuff from Dick's Sporting Goods. But it wasn't bad. I thought the story kind of drug out a little bit, and man, was it dark. I like dark movies, but geez, oh Pete. They said Snyder's movies were dark. I couldn't help but think the whole time I watched this movie, man, I'll tell you, they borrowed a lot from the movie Seven. You can't convince me that they didn't. And heck, even the original ending, where he goes in and confers with the Joker to get his opinion on how to deal with this guy, was completely taken off of Silence of the Lambs, where Clarice goes in to ask Hannibal's opinion on how to deal with the serial killer. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it is an homage to other movies. The movie drug out a little bit for me, but it was okay. So now we come down to, out of all those Batman, all those movie versions of Batman, who do I think is the best? I think it's obvious. I think Affleck personified the image of Batman better than anybody else that's played the part. That's not to take away from the rest of them, but man, I'll tell you what, when you saw Ben Affleck in the outfit, and he looked like Batman, like he just stepped off the comics. When I was a kid reading Batman comics, Batman had this image of this big, brooding, hulking figure that cast a dark shadow that, man, would scare the crap out of you if he came upon you in the dark or came up out of a dark alley. And that's how Affleck came off to me in his version of Batman. It's unfortunate that things went the way that they did in Snyder's universe. I hate to keep harping on that. I know people hate hearing about it, but there's still a big part of me that hopes and wishes that somehow maybe we'll get to see the rest of it. I'm not holding my breath anymore. If it happens, fantastic. If it doesn't, then okay. At least we have 3 great movies to watch. Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman and Zack Snyder's Justice League. And, you know, I'm not taking away from Wonder Woman. First Wonder Woman movie is phenomenal. Aquaman, I can take it or leave it. I kind of saw where the direction they were headed with him in that movie. But anyway, so there you have it. My opinion on who I think is the best version of Batman, the best actor that's played Batman, the best is Ben Affleck. I know a lot of people will disagree with it. I know a lot of people, when they think Batman, they see Michael Keaton, and I respect that. I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm not telling anybody that they're wrong. I'm just giving my opinion on what I think, and you know, that's what this show's about anyway. So anyhow, that's the show for today. What do you think? Who's your favorite Batman and why? What's your favorite Batman movie? And why don't you like the other ones? Hit me up. You know, tell me down below. Tell me your thoughts. Hit that like button, please. Please subscribe so we can keep this going. We're still new, but we're trudging along, and we'd like to keep it going. So anyway, thanks for stopping by. God bless. Have a nice day. Socks out.